FTX is being used, Sam Bankman-Fried, the little puppet boy that he is, being used to come in and backdoor the whole cryptocurrency space. And that was always part of the plan. And they are using this to roll out that programmable CBDC money. And as you're seeing, it's worked perfectly. The way that they structured that, and we'll see if the Republicans are ever going to hold any of these guys accountable. But they're talking big talk. But we're going to see if anybody ever gets held accountable. And then what's the end goal? You get Elizabeth, I got a plan for that, Warren, coming in with her crypto bills that were literally like written by Sam Bankman-Fried. The Sam Bankman-Fried bill is still being considered right now. And, they're considering a few cryptocurrency bills is, what they're calling them. But yeah, the Fed has definitely played its role in manipulating this thing, and it's created that everything bubble. And so that's why people really needed to get serious over the last 2 years here while we had this opportunity about transferring your assets out of the old system that is not supposed to be where it's at. Your 401ks were never supposed to go as high as they did, and that was a blessing if you were able to take advantage of that. But now it's time to shift that money over. It's time to reallocate that, because it was all a fake money bubble and everything bubble pumped up by the Federal Reserve and the other central banks.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you on a lot of stuff. What is your thoughts on how gold and silver is going to play a role in this quantum financial system? Do you think that the gold and the silver will be tokenized so that, we have inventory on the most secure blockchain in the history of the world, and no one's ever going to be able to finagle the bagel? Or do you think that it's going to be the other way around, where gold, which really doesn't have any utility other than you put it in some televisions and some watches and stuff like that? I see it the other way around. I see where, a certain amount of gold, yes, will be used to tokenize the, to back up rather the paper money, like the Zims, the dinars, and what have you. By the way, Trump is on record on mainstream media saying at the end of one of the interviews on Fox, saying, well, we own $35 trillion worth of their money. So Trump is on to the dinars. So my question, I guess, is, do you think that it's going to be where gold is going to back up XRP, XLM, and all these different assets and silver, or will it be placed on the blockchain so that nobody could steal it because it's the most secure blockchain? The XRP-L, as you know, is the most secure blockchain in the history of the world.
Yeah, I think that this is great for gold and silver. What's happening with crypto, the merging of those two is going to be fantastic, because one, it's kind of hard to trust these central banks in these countries like China that are not reporting all of their gold that they're mining. They're not, reporting all their gold that they're importing. They're not reporting how much they're actually, buying. And so we have no idea. But there is a run for gold. There's a reason why there's a record amount of central banks buying gold, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. And I believe that people think that XRP is going to be 1-to-1 to gold, like 1 ounce of gold. I think that limits XRP's potential. I think that what we have here is we have a liquidity utility that is going to be moving trillions of dollars daily. And to limit it to just correlating it to gold, I think it would limit XRP. So I think that you're going to see gold represented on XRP, potentially on XLM as well. I think that I just talked about this in my XLM deep dive. A lot of people want to make one crypto only have one utility, one use case, or it's only going to be adopted by one. Like XLM is going to replace Swift, and that's the only utility it's going to have. That's not the case. You can put anything you want on these blockchains. And so you're going to have all of the commodities, gold, silver, real estate, oil, going on XRP, going on XLM. It's all coming to these blockchains. But here's what's so important. For XRP and XLM, they solved scalability and transactions first. And that's what matters, is the ability for your blockchain to actually handle values moving across your blockchain in the trillions every single day. Tens of millions of transactions on a daily basis. You need to be able to do that. And there's only a few blockchains that can actually do that. XRP and XLM solve that utility problem first. And now we're seeing NFTs come to the XRP ledger. Now we're seeing, different things come to the XRP ledger after the fact. Real estate. There's a new healthcare company building on the XRP ledger. But you're going to have all sorts of utilities on these networks. What the question is, though, that's so important to ask and figure out here, the multi-trillion-dollar question is, can the blockchain that you've invested in actually handle tokenizing gold on it, tokenizing silver on it, maybe the oil supply. But for me, there's no better option than XRP, XLM, and a couple other blockchains have some utility there as well.
Gotcha. I know you went and did a XLM deep dive. That was very interesting. I'm going to probably have you hit on a few of those points here in a little bit. The biggest, most important word here we have in this space, as far as I'm concerned, you could either agree or disagree, is the word liquidity. People don't understand. Liquidity means that we have to be able to move all of the money on earth. All of the money on earth doesn't mean some of the money. That means all of the money. Moving into this new world, that's why, by the way, not to get political, but this is why Trump, I believe, is so calm, okay, is because he understands that once we do, let's say Jassar and Nassara is going to be the clear winner. Everybody's going to get a 5.6 or whatever, $6,000 a month UBI. You're not going to be able to collect the UBI if you're, occupying a country illegally. You can't go, to Poland and you're coming in from another country and you're there illegally. Say, I want my UBI. They're going to say, get the hell out of here. If you don't have, your paperwork, if you're there illegally, right? So that's why I think all these guys are calm as hell, including Brad Garlinghouse. Okay, but the liquidity going into this Jassara and Nassara, the UBI, the unbanked, you got 1.8 billion, almost 2 billion people unbanked. You got the UBI that's got to move through something. That something is going to be the XRP. We're going to be graduating from a $5 quadrillion per year in movement of money. I'm talking derivatives, real estate, everything, stock markets, everything. And we're going to be graduating to potentially 8 to 10 times that. You're not going to move $50 quadrillion per year with a 39-cent coin. It's not going to happen, right? So we know it has to be a huge, huge number, and people are stuck on something called market cap. Do you believe that market cap will be something of the past? Do you believe that market cap will be something that gets burned down with the old world, and there's already a new calculation that maybe you and I can't see, but we're already speculating, saying that's an old mathematical formula that's not going to apply into the new world? Am I onto something, or am I delusional?
No, I made a clear distinction recently between market cap, which is the circulating supply of a token, versus the available supply for liquidity. Mm-hmm. So you have people that are very, very confused about this. Market cap is kind of a decent metric for looking at stocks, maybe looking at gold. Like, okay, we can tell that there's about $10 trillion worth of value in gold right now, right? But that's old system. That's an old way of thinking, and it still is relevant for those markets. But it's like trying to say that the market cap of Swift is 5 trillion on a daily basis. Well, that's not really a market cap calculation. That's the liquidity value. So people have to distinguish that. There's so much confusion there, but it's very simple. You have available supply for liquidity, and then you have a circulating supply, and basically a market cap based off of how much money has been parked in that asset. But it doesn't make a difference. I mean, clearly we had 3 trillion in market cap in crypto that's evaporated, right? So what good is that metric, right? It's really, I don't really like to use that. And like I said, there's a calculation to be done if you're trying to figure out how to provide liquidity for a network. And you start with, what is the value that you need to move on a daily basis, and what's the number of transactions on a daily basis? So for example, Swift is going to be $5, $6, $7 trillion daily, and it's about 44 million messages per day. So then you go to XRP, you figure out how much of a supply do you have? Well, dumbasses put in 100 billion XRP in the supply, and we know that there's not even 100 billion XRP available right now to use for anybody.
Correct.
So then you get back down to, okay, let's say this network has 10 billion XRP. Let's say there's 10 billion XRP available for liquidity. Okay, great. How quickly then can we turn over that same XRP? Because then you got the haters that are trying to pick apart every part of your argument and calculation there. And you say, yes, obviously you can use the same XRP multiple times in a day. Add it to your calculation. And then you come to, what does the price need to be of that token? And that's going to determine what, how you come up with that liquidity. And so there is an equation to be done. Many people are doing it wrong. Many people, and it is based off of assumptions and speculation on the inputs that we put into that calculation. But I wanted to make a point on what you said there with how much bigger this, some call it the internet of value, the quantum financial system, whatever you want to call it, how much bigger this is going to get, how much more value is going to flow on a daily, a yearly basis on this planet. We are just at the tip of the iceberg as far as the pools of liquidity that are going to open up and grow on these networks. And so, and here's the thing. You come up with that calculation and you determine what you need the price of XRP to be at for this year to settle. Let's say it's the DTCC that settles $2.4 quadrillion worth of security settlement on a yearly basis. Okay, so you come up with that, but that's just 1 year. That's just 2021. Then you got next year. Then you got the year after that. And if the world doesn't end, I mean, think about where this goes over the next 2 decades, over the next 10, 20 years, right? Yeah. That's quadrillions of value settling every year, times that by 5 to 10 times based off how much this internet of value is going to grow. And then times that by year after year after year. You see where this goes. It's not a 50-cent market cap, bro, conversation.
Yeah. Well, you see, we're not supposed to own this asset class. You know that. We're not supposed to have it. We got our little dirty paws around it because the banks didn't see the full picture. The deplorables did. Okay. And I could tell you that they can't sleep at night knowing that Zach Rector and Mel Carmine down in Costa Rica own XRP and they need it. So I believe a buyout is very, very real. What the number of buyout, listen, I'm talking to a really big guy that I'm about to bring onto the show over on Twitter. And he's talking $125,000 buyout. He's talking the second round of $250,000 buyout. And he's talking a third round of $375,000 buyout. So the people upstairs, I think you'll agree with me, already know what the final crescendo is going to be, the final climax, what that number is going to be in order for them to be able to go into this new world of Jassar Nassar, which I believe is winning 100,000 to nothing. Are you on board with these big numbers? Is it possible that, all the things that they were talking about Bitcoin being, which Bitcoin ain't, we know that. You and I are completely anti-Bitcoin. It's a waste of time. It's wasting our time. It's slowing us down. I wish it would just go down to zero like tomorrow morning, first thing. Okay. So this way we can get on with this party. I know that Schwartz has talked about this a couple of times on Twitter. I think he's been silenced. But I also do believe that this is intergalactic money. I think this is money that was given to us by Space Force and whoever's up there that is a little smarter than we are. So where are you on all of that?
Yeah, so I can say here today on this show that I have been invited to the confidential committee that is actually doing the buyback proposal. So right now